Shalom. Ka'alayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors be to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who still rule and teach well in sound doctrine. Peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this word in humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And just going back to the basics once again, breaking down Isaiah 14, verse 1 and 2, breaking down the word stranger. Okay, which I've done this lesson 3-4 times in the last couple months. But it has to be done again because there are deceiving spirits out here. The scriptures say that they will give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Let me get that. This is 1 Timothy 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressively that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. And this is our greatest fear, to have our candlestick put out, and the Lord have us depart from the faith, giving heed to a lie. The strangers in Isaiah 14, 1 and 2 are Israelites. When you read stranger, it doesn't necessarily mean a heathen every time you see it. And this is the Apostle Paul makes this very clear. James 1 and 1, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greetings. Okay? Yahweh Shai, it was said of Yahweh Shai, whither will he go? Will he go to teach I got to get that now because I'm about to butcher it. Let's go to I think it's St. John 7. Whither will he go that we shall not find him? Right. This is St. John 7 and 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, and when they give into these seducing spirits, it's because they're no longer being scholarly. They're no longer going into the Hebrew. They're no longer going into the Greek. Ultimately, it's because the spirit of Yahweh Shai Shai was only said to dwell with them for a certain period of time, and then the Lord was going to take that spirit. It's all a part of his will. But on a carnal level, when you're not being diligent in the things that you did when you first heard about this truth, well, that's when you start to decrease. It says here in St. John 7 and 35, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? So who is the dispersed among the Gentiles? Well, I read it in James. I quoted it in James 1 and 1. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greetings. That's the dispersed. When you go to that word dispersed in the Greek, the word is diaspora. Diaspora. You see, and when I was in elementary school in the 90s, they still was teaching our history. I think my generation, brothers who like around 30, 29, 30, I think our generation was the last generation that they actually, gave out a lot of, like, they was throwing it in our face almost, man. Because I remember a lot of stuff when I came into this truth. I remember a lot of things that I was reading about in the scriptures that reminded me of something that I learned in elementary school. I learned about that word diaspora. I learned about how the wars of Gad and Reuben, against Esau and the British and the French, in great detail. Like they would go into it, back then. Now they don't go into it. They might cover it a paragraph or something, but they ain't gonna go in great detail for the whole day. We just touching on this topic. No, they're not doing it like that no more. They're not giving you information that would allow you as a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American to associate yourself historically with the people of the Bible. They're not gonna give that to you anymore, because the truth is out here and it's being fruitful. So when you deal with Isaiah 14 and 1, let's go there first, and then I'll come back to Exodus 2 and 22, because I'm going to use Exodus 2 and 22 to pretty much bring the point home, Lord willing. This is Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. What's the subject matter here? The Lord having mercy on Jacob. It says, and will yet choose Israel, right? And set them in their own land, right? And the strangers shall be joined with them. So now the question is, every time you see the word stranger, does it mean it's talking about a heathen? The answer is no. You will have to admit that the answer is no. The proof is the proof is Exodus 2. Because Moses said what? I was a stranger in a strange land. Let me get that in Exodus 2, verse 22. It says, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. The word for the Hebrew word for stranger in Isaiah 14:1 is gar. Gar. Gar is where you get the Hebrew word Garsham. Garsham, which is what Moses named his son. Right? Let's look at this. The word stranger.
Strong's H1616. Gar. Gar.
Right. It says
And
Hagar.
the form
Hagar.
just below that, Geir. Geir.
So it says, it says Hagar, right? Which means the stranger. So that's why we say Ba Hashem. Ba means in, Ha means the, Shem means name. It's Exodus 2:22. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Now, was Moses an Israelite? Absolutely. But he said that he was a stranger, meaning he was an Israelite that lived outside of the land of Israel. Let's go to this word stranger in the Hebrew. Because this word gar is the correct word that should be used in the Hebrew. That's another thing. You can't just lean upon the blue letter Bible and formulate a doctrine upon a blue letter Bible, every definition. You got to have the spiritual discernment, okay, to know when the blue letter Bible goes off. This is an Edomite platform. The scriptures say he is wiser than Daniel, but we also know that he's a deceitful worker, okay? So, yeah, he searched a lot of things out, but at the same time, we got to double and triple check this devil and the information that he gives us. And our apostles, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shai, they've done that. And I'm about to prove through this lesson, like I said, Lord willing, this is the word gar, right? For stranger. It says sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. This is what was going on during the time of Yahweh Shai, the Apostle Paul. Okay, you had a lot of newcomers, Israelites that had been scattered, that had been dispersed among the Gentiles, as he read in St. John 7:35. Israelites that had been scattered and dispersed. And you can read that history in great detail in the book of 1st and 2nd Maccabees, which that time frame was a couple of centuries before Yahweh Shai. So you're seeing now, when Yahweh Shai comes on the scene, that they're dealing with a lot of Israelites who were forcibly converted into the customs and the religions of the Greeks. Right? And now they're coming back to their homeland as a newcomer, but they lack inherited rights. They lack the rights of an actual Israelite. They're called Gentiles. They're called heathen. You see, they're called stranger. But the Lord said that he was going to, they're called a wild olive tree. But the Lord said he's going to bring the wild olive tree and graft them in. Why? Because they are Israelites. If I find out that my father is Michael Jackson, I'm a stranger to Michael Jackson, and I lack inherited rights to Michael Jackson. But there may come a day where I'm just using him because he's rich. There may come a day where Michael Jackson, he was rich, he's dead now. But there may come a day where Michael Jackson gives me the things that I rightfully have an inheritance to, because I'm of the same lineage as him. It says, of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. It says a foreigner, alien, stranger. Right. Then down here, it says proselyte, which we know proselyte is a new believer. It says, look, let's see what this says. It says foreigner, a person living out of his own country. That's all it is, man. A person living out of his own country. So not only did the Lord have mercy on the house of Jacob and the house of Israel coming out of America, okay, that's going to be delivered, the ones that know that they're Israelites. But the Lord's going to have mercy on those Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, okay, that may look like the heathen. Those Israelites across the four corners of the earth, they're going to cleave to the house of Jacob. They're going to cleave to the brothers, man. They're going to cleave to the elect because they're Israelites. This word cleave is the equivalent to what's being spoken of in Romans the 11th chapter about them being grafted in. The reason why they can cleave, the reason why they can be grafted in is because they're of the same stock. You can't graft a orange tree on an apple tree. It's not going to work. Maybe you could, but I'm pretty sure that's against nature. Yahweh Shemel Shai ain't with that. It says, this is Isaiah 14:1. Let's go to the word cleave. I just want to see what it says.
Strong's H 5596. Safach. Safach.
It says sapak. It says to join, attach to, join together, to attach oneself, join together. So how the heck can we be joined together with the heathen? Yahweh Bashim al-Shah said, though hand join of hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. There's none. It said that every one of them. How do you rectify these scriptures, man? Every one of them shall go into captivity. Every one of them, not just a couple of them humbled down because they saw the rise of iron. No, fuck that. Every damn heathen is going into slavery for 1,000 years, man. Jake had to get this through their thick skulls. Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they, the Lord said, therefore, meaning because of this, you got to read up in the chapter to see what the Lord is speaking on. But to sum it up, the Lord is speaking on how the heathen have used and abused the nation of Israel. It says, therefore, and they forwarded the affliction of the nation of Israel. Okay? The curses was already on us, and they took advantage of the curses being on us. You know, they were mindful of the curses being on us, and they dealt out of spite. It says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So every single one of them is going into captivity. There ain't gonna be no heathen that's gonna cleave to this kingdom. It tells you in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, that the kingdom shall not be left to other people. And Salaki, because I'm gonna go back to the breakdown. I just got to get these precepts because these are scriptures that these guys is not going to break down. They're not going to read them. It says here in Daniel 2:44, and in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the Heavenly Father is setting up his kingdom right now. It tells you in the book of Psalms that he said he would set us in order before their eyes, meaning before the eyes of our enemies. It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. That's plain. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So that's it. The kingdom is not going to be left to other people. The kingdom is going to be the kingdom of Yasha Allah. It said the court for the Gentiles leave out and measure it not. This is not for them. This is Isaiah 14:1 again. For the Lord will have mercy on Yaquab, and will yet choose Yasha Allah, and set them in their own land. And the strangers, Gar, right, which is where you get the word Garsham from. I'm going to go to that verse next. And the strangers shall be joined with them. They shall be joined together. They're going to be one. That's why the Apostle Paul said there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek. So what these guys are going to say, the Greek is actually talking about white people? If that's the case, then why did the Apostle Paul leave out the Canaanites? Why did he leave out the Moabites? Why did he leave out all the other heathen nations? Why did he leave out the Assyrians? Why is it just about the Jew and the Greek? So you mean tell me the kingdom is only for the Jew and the Greek? Only the Jew and the Greek is going to get the kingdom? No. The Greeks is Israelites, as I explained earlier, because you have the time period of called Hellenization. Hellenization. And when you go to that word Greek, the word is either Hellen or Hellenist, which I believe Hellenist was the Israelites that knew that they was Israelites, but they was speaking Greek. And then you had the Israelite. Helen was the Israelite who didn't know that he was an Israelite at all. That was a Greek. If I'm not mistaken, I might have those definitions backwards. So Salakia. It says, and set them in their own land. Maybe I'll come back and do a clarification video. It says, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So they're gonna cleave to the house of Jacob, meaning they're gonna be joined. They're gonna be one with us. They're gonna be grafted in. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. Now, which people? It's the house of Israel. It just said that the Israelites is going to devour all that devoured them. So how is it that those that devoured them is going to have a hand in devouring the ones that devoured us? Come on, man. We're going to pick a couple of China man and a couple of Arab man out the pack and have them be on our team? No. Hell no. You're crazy. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. Meaning the Israelites are going to bring them to their place. He said he's going to set them in their own land. So all the people in verse 1 is Israelites. The subject matter in verse 1 is Israelites. Get it through your head. Verse 2 says, and the people shall take them. Who is them? All the other nations. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So the house of Israel, it didn't say nothing about nobody else possessing anybody. What the heck are you talking about? It said the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and for handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the Israelites is going to take captives whose captives they were. What do you not understand about that? It said the house of Israel shall possess them. So obviously the strangers in verse 1 is the house of Israel. They're going to help possess the heathen, the ones that oppressed us. And what nation? It tells you in Maccabees. Oh, well, somebody might jump up and say, well, all the heathen didn't do. The scriptures don't say otherwise. The scriptures say what nation didn't have a part in our spoils. First Maccabees 2:10. It says, what nation have not had part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? So all these heathen nations, bro, at one point in time, they all had our treasures. They all had our spoils, our women. At one point in time, they either destroyed us, sought to destroy us, or did destroy us. Let's go to Exodus 2. Exodus 2 proves that the word gar, and not because there's another word for stranger, which is nakar. Exodus 2 proves that the correct word for an Israelite that's a stranger is gar. Because Moses named his son Gershom. Right? Now let's listen. Let's read this sentence here that Moses said. It says here in Exodus 2:22, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. So Moses said he had been a stranger. Well, first let's examine the name Gershom. Right? And he called his name Gershom.
Strong's H, 1647. Gershom. Gershom.
And it says, a son of the priestly family. It says, of Phineas, Salakia. I don't know why I read that first. The main definition for Gershom is foreigner. You see it here. Salakia for that. Daydreaming. It says a foreigner, right? So the word Gershom means foreigner or stranger. Let's go back. And well, let's look at the root word of Gershom. This word is Garshawan, and it says exile. Garshawan, meaning exile. All of these things happen to what nation? The nation of Israel. No other nation. Garsham. These are characteristics of Israel. Exiled, okay, stranger. It says Garsham or Garsha. It says to drive out, expel, cast out, drive away. So let's go back. So gar, you have the word gar or stranger is in the word Garsham. Let's go to the word strange. It says he said He named his son Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger. Moses is describing himself, saying, I have been a stranger. When he described himself, he used the word gar. Then he says, I have been a stranger in a strange land. When he describes the land of the Egyptians, which are actual heathen, he uses the word nakar for strange. He said, I have been a gar in a strange land, meaning the land of the Egyptians, nakar. The word for strange, which describes the land of the Egyptians, which are actual heathen, he used nakar or nakaria.
Strong's H 5237. Nochri. Nochri.
It says foreign, alien, foreigner. Now you notice how I just gave two definitions for two different words. But it used the words in two different contexts. If the spirit is not dealing with you, you're not going to get it. Right? The word nakar says nakar, calamity, disaster, misfortune. Now these words are not used normally to describe an Israelite. Okay? This is not a characteristic of the nation of Israel that's going to be remembered, in the kingdom, man. It says something strange, i.e. unexpected calamity. So the word nakar or nakaria is this word for the strange land that Moses dwelt in. And this is all dealing with a heathen. It says in a variety of decrees and applications, foreign, non-relative. You see? So this is the actual word that should be used in the Hebrew when you read in the context of the word stranger, and it's talking about an actual heathen. When it says Isaiah 60, and strangers shall build up thy walls. Let's see there. Let's go there. Isaiah 60 and 10. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Now these sons of strangers is talking about the actual heathen. I'm curious to see if they're going to use the word gar, or they're going to use the word nakar, or maybe they're going to use another word. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. You see, so in the Heavenly Father's wrath, he smote the nation of Israel. He cast us off. He made us become strangers. He exiled us. But in his mercy, he's gathering us right back together. And you're going to have the strangers that are the Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, not in America. They're going to cleave to the Israelites that are delivered out of America. It says, right, so the word for sons of strangers, look at that, nakar. Nakar.
Strong's H 5236.
This is a totally different definition.
Nechar. Nechar.
Nakar. Foreign, alien, foreignness, that which is foreign. Heathendom, alien, strange. And that's the proper word for a heathen. That's the same word that Moses used to describe the land of the Egyptians. A strange land, a Egyptian land, a heathen land. Basically, that's what Moses was saying. He said, I have been a stranger, a gar, which is an Israelite foreigner. I have been an Israelite living outside of my homeland in a strange land, in a heathen land. Isaiah 60 and 10, the word is nakar for strangers, right? It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. We know that's talking about the heathen. They're going into slavery, every one of them. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Right? So Lord willing, this is edifying. I believe I touched on everything. Let me go back to Exodus 2 real quick just to make sure. That's really all I wanted to say, or all I wanted to show. This is Exodus 2. Yeah, 22. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, which is Garsham, right? It says, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. You see? And the word, like I said, the word that Moses used to describe himself as a stranger is gar. So when you read that word gar in Isaiah 14 and 1, for strangers, it's talking about Israelites. Lord, this is edifying, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakodesh, Kom Yashar Shalom.